Welcome to the sequel. You know, I'm a nerd, movie nerd, so I'm wearing my Star Wars shirt. But welcome to the sequel of the Bahamarican Boys and the Feel the Heat crossover. I am Timmy. I don't always
That's
sound
the
that.
best way to start this.
I'm Ryan Fonseca, the other half of the Bahamarican Boys. We are doing this crossover again because we had so much fun doing it last time. I think it was already 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's who I am. How about the other half of the screen over here?
I'll go.
Do intros last time? Why are we so formal tonight?
Well,
we're not like formal, but like
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll
Just in
do. I'll
case
do the
people
feel the
don't
heat.
know.
All right, ready?
Pleasantries out the way, you know.
you never
Yeah.
know who's watching, Alana. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
You never know who's watching.
I mean,
Stephen
with
A.
my
Smith.
track record, God help me. So
What is that supposed to mean?
so many different things that I'm sure
Give us
people
one.
could
Give
put
us-
two
give
and
us
two. No,
one
that's
of those so
okay. I'll
many.
let people use
Yeah.
their imaginations.
Do you want people to do that?
Are you sure?
They're going to anyway. So
It's dangerous. That's a dangerous.
Well, we have
thing.
Mr. Michael from Feel the Heat with
we
his
do have
Oh,
Mr. Michael.
yeah.
Thank you for taking his intro because he definitely would not have said
with
that
his
properly.
vacation haircut. I appreciate
Yes.
the vacation haircut.
I have to. Because we're gonna go see Jimmy Fallon get recorded, right? So in case I'm on TV, I gotta make
that's
sure I
dope.
got
That's
the best hair possible. So that's what this is for.
Okay, that's dope.
Mr.
you have-
Michael's going Hollywood, apparently, on us.
I would listen, and I've told you this before. And here's the thing, and I've told Alana this a million times before. If somebody ever approached me to be like, "Hey, we want you to do the sports thing over here," I'd be like, "Hey, Alana, it was great. Peace out."
Link
Right?
up.
Yeah,
That would
Michael
never-
wants to be famous. I would hate that. Like, absolutely
Sounds
hate
great.
it.
I
I
love it.
no. I hate people knowing my shit. Like, it's no, thank you.
Says the lady who goes on camera for a living.
Yeah, but like, you don't really know much about me. Like, people
Yeah.
think they know me. It's this
Mhm.
misconception. You don't know anything, and I'd like to keep it that way.
And the last formal introduction, you have Miss Alana. Again, that doesn't work. Miss Alana doesn't work. Miss
Yeah,
Alana.
no, it's just Mr. Michael
doesn't
and
sound
Alana.
good.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
It only works because one sounds incredibly annoying, and
Right,
then the
right.
other one
Yeah.
doesn't sound as annoying. So then it doesn't work there. So that's what it is.
So how were you guys this All-Star break? Like we're players, you know. But how were you guys All-Star break?
I had a blast watching all this stuff. Like every year, I forget how much I love it. It's just like all ball all weekend with like a little celebrity kind of thrown into it. And the fact that MJ showed up was like cherry on top of everything.
So I watched the NASCAR with my old man. It's like Jordan is here. Oh, I guess he's skipping the game, and then halftime, no, he's
Mhm.
there.
You watched NASCAR?
Remember, my father's a mechanic. He loves cars, like
Oh.
basketball.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So
I didn't have Timmy watching the Daytona 500. I don't know if I'm doing a race thing there, but like I
Yeah.
just didn't have.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I
on my-
mean, you definitely are. I mean, that's 100% what that was,
So
Ryan.
I've read once, and it was the year that Trump was campaigning, and I was terrified.
That's a hell of a year to fucking go.
I was
Jesus Christ.
terrified. I was terrified, but it was cool. I'll never go again because I don't have to. Like, it's a thing every year. But my father, so he used to go to this thing called Super Chevy in West Palm until like 2015. He went to NASCAR, and I told him, okay, it's been enough now. Let's go someplace where more black people would be.
Mm.
You brought
Mhm.
up All-Star Weekend, and I'm gonna ignore the dunk contest because I was actually on a FanDuel live stream talking about that already. And it was not great.
You know what? It wasn't good, but also like
It was horrible,
I just-
Alana. It was horrible.
No, I am just like it wasn't good. Let's just like move on. Like I don't know why we're making
No,
it such a big
because
deal.
it
the
used
dunk
it
contest-
used to
yeah.
be the highlight of Saturday.
Well-
Yeah, but
I
it
used to go
hasn't
out.
been that in so long.
3 years.
Well, no, it
3 years.
swings. It swings because here's what
Yeah,
happens with the
it
dunk
does
contest.
swing.
The dunk contest was great, and it was like ascending for a while there, right? From when it started, and then you had it like mid 2000s. It started kind of cresting, and then it just started kind of going down. And then every like 3 to 4 years, you have a dunk contest that's actually really good, and everyone says, "Oh, the dunk contest is back.
back,
This was
yeah.
exciting."
I
And then
think
you go
my
through another
problem
drought of
was
3 or
like
4
I
years.
didn't love the shade towards the players. Like I just thought that was not necessary
Well,
at all.
that's a
These
that's a
are-
problem with
especially
NBA in
because-
general.
Well, yeah, but also like this group happens to be like pretty young from right, and so like I don't know. I think the interview afterwards kind of irked me of her basically being
I didn't
like
like that. I didn't like.
yeah,
she
I
asked
mean,
him
just
if he
give
should
them
go
their
earlier.
moment. Like they're aware it wasn't great. They're gonna hear about it for so long. Just like let them have that moment. I didn't like it. I don't care that people on Twitter were going off. Like that's what Twitter's for. But in terms of the media, like I just didn't like the blatant shade.
Yeah, and like she asked twice. Like he didn't hear the first 2 times.
Mhm.
Yeah, Wade is tackle. Why are you telling for a 3rd time that
Right,
Dwayne
like
Wade,
just take
a
that
top
as you're
75
out.
player, is
Mhm.
talking bad about you because Obi going home? He can't even celebrate this win because
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. And then she wasn't the only one. I mean, I know obviously I have my problems with Reggie, but Reggie with the rest of the weekend was making comments, and I don't know. To me, it's just like it's fine for us all to troll about it, but like to do it to the guys, like that was just crossing the line.
Let me point this out. 2 things. One, dunk contest specific. One is all-star specific. One, dunk contest specific would be, I thought Cole Anthony's dunk and Tim's was underrated as a New Yorker. I just want to say that. I just want to put the New York cape on for a second. You know, he came out with his dad's jersey and he dunked in Tim's. I thought that shit was hard and it should have got a 9, but it did not. And he didn't end up doing well after that, so it doesn't matter. And Juan Toscano Anderson, shout out to him for repping Mexico. My fellow Latinos, where you at? You know what I'm saying? Like he had the Mexican
There's
colors.
so few of us. We gotta make it as loud as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. I was hype. I was super hype. I'm gonna see if I could speak to him about that at some point.
Nice.
And I also just want to point out Jimmy Butler made his 6th All-Star appearance. I have a list in front of me, other guys who have made 6 All-Star appearances. Not more, not fewer, just 6 to let you know what company he's in. Giannis is actually one of them. We know Giannis is going to pass him, so we could ignore that. But Adrian Dantley, Pau Gasol, Joe Dumars, who else is here that's notable? Sean Kemp, Kyle Lowry, interestingly enough. They have the same amount of All-Star games. Jermaine O'Neal, Tony Parker, Mitch Richmond, Amari Stoudemire. Like, that's some really good company.
I miss you.
Really good company.
That's a good company. And the reason why you saying 6 is so sensitive to me. People that was fighting for years about if Joe Johnson would make it to the Hall of Fame. Joe Johnson has 7. I'm like, how do you make 7 All-Star
Jimmy's
games?
Hall of Fame probability on Basketball Reference is over 70% right now.
Wow.
I think he's going to get in because we're probably going to see we'll probably see a couple more All-Star games.
And
like
at least maybe
that's a tough in though. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. But that's a tough in for Jimmy. Right? Like it's not too much he has to go on, right? It's a lot of intangibles. They have to have watched a lot of him specifically, and they have to get down to how did he elevate his teams? And I think he got stuck in such bad situations time and time again. Even if they were good at one point, they eventually turned bad. That's going to be held against him as well. And I understand that we all know that's fake, but you know it's going to come out where, it only worked in Miami. If he doesn't come to Miami, is he still a Hall of Famer?
I think what happens. No, he doesn't for sure.
But that's the point, right? Like I think that, and Alana, I want to get your thoughts on this because you've seen like the Chicago and the Miami side of this. But like with Jimmy, so Chicago was famously bad post Jordan, and then Derrick Rose came along, but he tore his ACL, so that run was sort of brief. And then Jimmy was sort of their shining light at one point, and then when he left, they went bad again. Now they're good again. But that was one of the only times that they were good again since Jordan left, right? Then in Philadelphia, Minnesota first, Jimmy's responsible for their only playoff berth without Kevin Garnett ever up until, I guess, this season, because they'll probably make the playoffs this season. But like Jimmy doing that, he had them as like a 3 or 4 seed before getting his a knee injury late that season. And then with Philadelphia, I mean, I don't know how much detail we really need to get into. The proof is already there. And they chose Brett Brown, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris over him. And then he left and brought the Heat to the finals. But Alana, I mean, what are because we talked about this a little bit when you were on with Timmy and I about the Chicago side of Jimmy and the Miami side of Jimmy. But like, now that we're talking about his Hall of Fame case, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I unfortunately agree with Michael. Actually, I think it's kind of a tough sell. I don't personally think it should be.
I just made a good point.
No, that's rare though. So I hate that I have to agree with you now. But I know it, and like a lot of Heat fans know it, and I think Bulls fans in general would agree. I just think that the narrative on Jimmy has not been great until he got here, even though, to your point, it should have been better, especially, reviving the Bulls the way he did. The other thing is there's something about Jimmy's personality that, like, because the guy goes hard, but it's hard in his own way. He's not showy and he's not loud, and he's kind of just like doing his own thing at
he comes
his own
to work,
tempo.
he does his job and goes back home.
Yeah, I don't think that bodes well to people outside, that aren't actually really closely paying attention to him. I don't think they see him as good as he really is. So I'm curious to see what happens there. I think he deserves it. I do think it's going to be a tough sell. I even saw, and it is Twitter, so whatever, but there's people on Twitter that were kind of like, why is he even there? We wasted an all-star spot. And it's just like, but this is Jimmy. Like, he looked bored, and that's like so on brand. Like, I loved that he just came in and he was just like, I'm here, whatever. And he like did a little something.
Two steals. Like,
yeah, he did a little something and called it a day. But I don't think that, to people outside of Heat fans, but also just fans who have been paying attention to him along the way, I don't think that it's going to sit very well.
But Brian, you mentioned you think the Wolves are going to make the playoffs. So do you think they beat both LA teams in the play-in?
Oh, well, I'm counting the play-in in that situation. I
Okay.
don't know if they're going to make it to the playoffs. I'm still hesitant on that because some franchises...
that would actually be like, I'd be proud of them if they beat both LA teams in a play-in situation.
I mean, they should, but
the problem is playoff LeBron kicks in, and then
exactly. Like, I don't see LeBron leaving.
Who's gonna kick in? Playoff Cat? Like, I don't think he exists. Like, as much as I want to hope he does, because he's Dominican, I'm like, it's not gonna happen, man. Like,
yeah, he can be a tough guy to like sometimes.
You mean
like,
ever?
so have you seen this whole best shooting big man ever thing? And someone had to remind him that Dirk lives. So when he won,
I don't know. The whole COVID situation. I
sympathize. But you're not the best shooting big man.
No,
ever.
Sure. I just like my entire opinion of him changed because I was like, you went through literally the worst thing ever. I can't. I have nothing bad to say anymore.
I will say, I do want to ask you guys, just because Alana and I have talked about it before, and I'm curious. Do you guys like the play-in? Just because we were talking about it.
Yes. So I'm a trade and off-season type of nerd, and what I've noticed in the last 2 to 3 years, because of the play-in, the teams that would give up at 10 and 11 at the trade deadline, they're no longer giving up because the play-in exists. So now the transactions are different now. Instead of dumping off bad contracts or taking on bad contracts as a 10th seed, you're now trying to win. So I think it has made the league more competitive. I hope to see it continue because LeBron complained last year, but it's because his team sucked. Like, LeBron wouldn't be complaining if he was in the number one seed last year.
And last year was
I hate it. So I think there's plenty of reason to complain. This is the reason why I don't, and this is hilarious because I've literally worked in college athletics for going on year 10 or something now. I don't like it. I don't like that it's one game determines everything. To me, it's like someone could be injured, you could be having a bad night. There's just too many external factors that can then decide your playoff run. To me, I think it's dumb. I don't know why we're trying to mimic college basketball. I want nothing to do with it.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that if the entirety of the NBA playoffs was one game.
But that's even dumber to me. The fact that you're picking...
No, but you have 82 games to normalize whatever is happening.
Right, and I listen to you guys.
Happening to everybody else.
I listen to your podcast a lot. They're always arguing about the importance of the regular season. And I think the play-in makes the regular season important because look at the Celtics. Celtics just almost killed themselves in the last 2 months to get out of the play-in. So it puts a type of urgency, I think, in the regular season.
I don't know. To me, it's just where do you even draw the line then for how many teams? It seems like something that was a COVID response randomly. And now they're just I guess let's just keep it in and keep tweaking it. It doesn't seem like a lot of strategy behind it. I don't like it.
I feel like it's more them looking for other ways to make more money though. Cause they've talked about other tournaments throughout the season, right? Having cause they want to be more like the Premier League. And if they can have, or European soccer, right? That's what they've talked about. Which that model of all these different tournaments. I hate that. Cause I'm as American as it gets when it comes to that. I want to focus on one thing and that's my goal. And that's it. Not like when I watch Chelsea and they're in 3 different tournaments at the same time. And Sunday they play in one, Wednesday another, and Saturday another. And I have no idea why they're doing all that, but it's stupid. So that I agree with. The plan though just makes sense because 8 through 10 or 7 through 10. I think is what
7 through
it is.
10. Yeah.
7 through 10. They're usually so close, anyways. I agree with you. We said this on our podcast. If 10 seed is 15 games back, right? There's just like a huge valley. I understand. Maybe like rethink that. Maybe put some sort of addendum in there. But if 7 through 10 are 3, 4, 5 games apart, I don't see why they shouldn't get a shot.
Like 4 are going to be super close too. Where do you draw the line? Then do you make them do something to see like who's really going to?
That would be dope. Actually, a reseeding tournament.
Stupid.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's just stupid.
I like the play-in terms of like the games that we'll get will be good. The
actual stakes of the line.
Yeah, but the issue that I will have with it is that we're talking about, all right, 20 of the 30 teams now have something to play for in the league.
It's
sort of further dilute shit. And you're going to be talking about teams that I don't know how it's going to shake out this year record-wise, but in the near future, if it's not this year, you're going to see teams that are like 37-45 and 36-46. And 35-47, like with a chance. And that's going to be fucking weird. It's going to be especially weird when one of these play-in teams are going to knock off one of them top.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
like a participation trophy almost. We were like, oh, well, you're close enough. So like, here's one more shot. It's like, no, you're not close enough. Like you've dropped off. Like you're done.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just like, look, every answer in the world could be traced back to money. And I just think the NBA just sees an opportunity here.
And if you listen to Adam Silver speak at the press conference before the game, someone brought up how the NFL makes like, I guess, like maybe it's like 20, a lot more money than the NBA. So Silver really is trying to.
They added playoff teams too.
Yeah, so
and baseball probably will too, and they honestly should.
Baseball's been doing it for a couple of years now. I think they added one, and then they added a second, like wild card team, where it's like now there's a play-in game for the wild card spot, and that's a one-off. I just think, look, it's when was the last time an eight seed beat a 1 anyways?
Dirk, the Warriors and Dirk.
Right.
2007.
Really? It was that long ago?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
No. Spurs and Grizzlies.
That was 1-8. Okay. I thought that was 2. Whatever. Like,
but the last time a 1-8 actually mattered, it never did. But the day that a 10 seed wins the play-in and defeats a 1, which is probably only going to happen once every like 20, 30 years. But the day it does happen, that's going to be pretty incredible. It's going to be worth watching.
It might happen this year.
And the 1 seed, whoever they are, they can't complain about it. You had 7 games to be the best team and beat them. You didn't.
Shout out to our comments coach below. That's right. Iggy those beat the Bulls.
Okay. Was that
Derrick Rose? That was when he tore his ACL.
He tore his ACL in game 1 because Tibbs had him out there with like a 15-point lead at the fourth quarter. Because
shit happened. I don't mind. Like I kind of like the 1 game playoff of it, even though like yes. It kind of dilutes the regular season a bit. I just do like watching the stress of 2 teams playing a winner-go-home game.
We all agree Game 7 is the best thing.
The more if you give me that scenario, like that's why I'm sort of 50-50 with it. I don't know.
It's too college basketball for me.
I don't know. Shit, I like college ball when the
I like working in it. I don't watch it ever.
When the tournament is on, when the tournament is on and you've got a 15 seed that somehow defeated a 2 seed and that feeling, that is, I'm sorry, that's unbeatable. And the 7-game series, I get it. It regulates it, makes sure that the quality of basketball is high because the better team most of the time is going to win. But NFL playoffs, for example, you never know how it's going to go. And there's just something exciting about that. The unexpectedness. I don't think it should always be, well, you were the better team, so here we're just going to hand it to you now. I like how random it gets.
So let's go into our next comment. I saw, I didn't know Zion was this weird. So CJ, who was the president of the players,
I did.
You didn't. You insulted him for being fat.
Everything about this situation is just him not doing what he's supposed to do as a professional athlete.
Which is weird to me because CJ is the president of the Players Union. So when Zion tries to ask for a trade in a year or 2, he kind of needs like CJ to be in his pocket.
The fact that CJ said that and it was so calculated, I was just like a huge round of applause. Like he knew exactly what he was doing with that comment. It was brilliant.
And Malika said that after that comment, then he decided to reach out. But I just don't.
But this is talking about what JJ said about Zion because CJ said that Zion hadn't reached out,
and JJ is and it's funny. JJ hates the Pelicans because they promised him he was going to trade him elsewhere. So this is a perfect time for JJ to like shit on the Pelicans, and he didn't. So that makes you realize that it must be something wrong because he talked very badly about David Griffin and the Pelicans last year. But basically saying like he played with him and he's very detached. Like he doesn't connect with his and the others, and he's supposed to be like the next face of the league. So yeah, that's kind of what do you guys think about it?
I mean, I think the whatever future he thought he had, like he can kiss that goodbye. I'm sure he'll have some sort of future in the league, but it's not going to be what he thinks. So
Jesus.
I'm over him. I'm sorry. I just don't respect this. It's like you have a job, do it. Like that. It's really that simple. And if there's something wrong, communicate that and figure it out. Especially like to your point, CJ is now on your team. Use that to your advantage. Like be mature, have a conversation, figure out what works for both sides. Like if the environment isn't right, totally respect that. I get it. That happens a lot, but then like just work something out. Don't babysit. Like he's just detaching himself from the team and hoping that a miracle comes through. I don't get it.
He wants to join his boys RJ and Cam. I almost forgot about Cam Reddish being there. In New York City.
You know what? But here's the thing though. Zion better thank his lucky stars he didn't go to New York. Because if Zion had done this in New York, they wouldn't have been shook because the Pelicans don't got fans. Nobody's worried about it down there.
I think the point kind of is that he wouldn't do it in New York.
Yeah, so the whole point is that his family.
What guarantee do we have though?
No, so
I don't know. Look, so here's the thing, right?
The whole story is that his family always wanted to go to New York. That's the whole thing. The thing is, his family didn't want to go to New Orleans. They wanted to go to either LA or New York.
Well,
so
he's
all of this posturing is to get to New York.
Do you know how many players would love to be on any NBA team or like even a G League team? I don't respect people who act like this. It's like, work your way up. And if you want something, then figure out a way to get it. Don't just be like, I'm entitled to this. You're entitled to what?
Like the Pelicans didn't try either because the Pelicans built a team specifically for him. It wasn't a great team and the Pelicans aren't great, but they worked their asses off to build around him. They were all excited about him. They were on Christmas Day games when they really didn't need to be.
All the endorsements he got,
and he was just like, nah, I'm going to flounder until I can get to New York. You're going to be way too overweight by the time you get to New York that you're not going to be able to come back from this. And the injuries that you're going to pile up aren't going to be worth it.
So there's a lot that you guys just said there. Jesus Christ. I'm just going to say this. It's as it relates to Zion. I'm somebody who was not a Zion guy coming out of college from the standpoint of like, everybody was on his dick. And I was like, yo, can he like, prove himself first? Like, can we not anoint him as the best prospect since LeBron, which is a common thing that was going around
a lot,
being Charles Barkley 2.0, et cetera, et cetera. And part of it was like, one, I just didn't quite see that right away. And two, it was also like, could we not do this to a 19-year-old and really like, run the verge of whatever effect that would have on somebody his age? I have questions about the people around him and how they're handling this, but my whole thing is like, I feel like the media does get some responsibility for putting a lot of pressure on him and him not knowing how to deal with certain things. But I also think he's not really helping himself and hasn't really
grow up. Like,
that's the thing. Like he's not helping himself and hasn't helped himself either. And again, I'm somebody who like part of it was his game, but part of it was also like just watching him. I'm like, I don't know how this holds up what he does sustainably from a health standpoint. So there's just a lot there. Like it's very complicated, very gray and nuanced where I don't think it's just you're a Zion guy or you're not. I think it more so comes down to like, I think he needs to handle himself a little bit better. I also think the media isn't without blame here because we can't just hype up somebody, not we, but like the societal we can't hype up somebody
to
the level that they did.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, they can't. But let me finish.
Into.
You can't hype up somebody to that point. And then now that this is going on, just completely turn on him.
Yes, you can.
That's their. Oh, you listen, man.
I think
I agree with Alana completely on this.
No,
you know what the problem
yes,
is?
you can. It's not just that he's injury prone. It's the fact that he is not conducting himself in any sort of professional manner whatsoever. The injuries, I still think a lot of them are his own fault. He's not conditioning properly. That's on him. But like the initial injuries or whatever, fine. You can't hold that against him somewhat. This is all him and his team. Of course they can flip on him. He's not doing anything right.
I don't think media goes without blame here because too many times we let them do their jobs, quote unquote, and then national media in particular, and then they just get off free. It's like, oh, we're just doing our
free
jobs.
From what? What are they doing wrong in the situation?
No, I'm saying tracing back to 2019, where Zion was the most overhyped prospect.
No, right.
In generations.
It's tough when they
And
overhype
now-
someone like that, right? When they overhype a teenager. LeBron was on ESPN, the magazine cover, since he was like 16 years old. They've been doing this for a while now. But the fact that Zion was hyped up as much as he was has given him millions upon millions of dollars. That was the life that he chose to lead.
Yeah,
I
and
agree with
now
you. Sometimes
he's
media crosses the
entitled
line.
because of it.
Right. Sometimes media crosses the line and they go too far. Right. Attacking him or his family personally, you don't cross that line.
Yeah, of course not.
But you chose this life. You wanted to be here. The least you could do is minimum effort. And minimum effort is staying in shape, keeping up with your team, even if you're not in the facility. That's like if somebody hired you for a desk job and they're like, you're so great at this job, you're going to be the manager one day, but every day you come in half an hour to an hour late. You can fix that. You can't blame anybody else for the expectations they
So
put on you.
I do think
It also does depend on so JJ Redick has talked about the culture of like what's going on in New Orleans, et cetera, et cetera. CJ McCollum just got there, and evidently, as the Players Association president, he thinks he could fix it. So the desk job analogy is an interesting one, but I also think it depends on what's the culture of said job. And we actually don't know the answer.
I'm gonna let Alana take this one because
you
can be in a bad
you don't
culture and
want
still do your job. Yeah,
you don't want to go here with me, and I actually can't say too much on air about this. But let me tell you, like, it's still on him at the end of the day. He wants to leave. That's fine. Figure out a way to do that in a respectful, professional way. You are getting paid while still doing your job, but you're being paid millions of dollars. You're getting endorsements off the court to basically do what? Pretend you're not on the team, not even give anyone the respect that they deserve. Like, especially teammate wise, to me, this is the stuff I never understood with players. Your teammates, they don't have anything to do with like the front office. They don't have to do with where you're going to go.
They're suffering just as much as you are. And in his case, actually way
He's
worse.
acting like an entitled brat. I'm sorry. I'm over it. I've been over it for a year plus now. It's just getting worse. And the fact that now JJ's publicly saying this, like,
and they're the same agent. They come from the same school. So
this is why, and this is the last point I'm going to make on this because we're going too long on it. But this is why I also have questions about the people around him because he's 21, right? Mm-hmm. He probably has a shit ton of people in his circle that we've already heard reports about. They want to get him to New York and they want to do all these things. Like, I have questions mainly about them because Zion could also just be getting a fuck ton of bad advice.
That's fine. I agree with that. And that's why I do give a little bit of leeway to Derrick Rose as well, because he did some questionable things. And I happen to know a few people that were in his inner circle and they were awful influences. But still, at the end of the day, like, at 21, fine. You hear what's being said about you. You don't stop to be like, wait a second, maybe I'm not conducting myself properly, or I don't know, your doctor keeps telling you that you're basically your conditioning is leading to more injury. That's on you. Like, there's a fine line where you need to stop and like look what's around you. And yeah, if you have to make some changes, make them. Derrick Rose did that, and you see that he's living a pretty different life now. At what point, like, how far do we go before he wakes up?
And how do we feel about the fact that the Pelicans, to the whole season ticket holder, email and didn't mention Zion once? Are they done? Are they?
I can't imagine them singing "Kumbaya" after this.
Using your marketing brain, using your like media type of brain. Like, why would we still employ Zion? He still is the face of the franchise, but now we're not even including him in the email.
So I mean, it's basically false advertising if you do. Like, you don't know he's coming back. We have no idea what's going on there. And I mean, I don't think I personally even know any actual fans, but like, fans are probably frustrated too, right? Like, I'm not, I swear I'm not.
You don't know any Pelicans fans.
Personally,
I know Chris Paul fans. I know Chris Paul fans who are Hornets fans because of him, but.
No, but I'm not literally not even trying to throw shade. I just personally have never spoken to one, but I'm just saying, like, I'm sure that's frustrating too. So that whole thing is a mess. I'm like, when is this going to stop? And it just keeps getting worse.
So earlier today,
if the Knicks want to do something, all it takes is $10 million, baby. That's all I'm saying.
Well, why would they even want him at this point? That's what I don't get.
They are starving for a star.
I would say,
star? Where's the star?
Every time we get a disgruntled NBA star and wonder who else would want him, there's always a few teams that would be like, "Hey, yo!"
But he literally is not even in playing condition right now. Like, disgruntled is one thing.
Knicks fans will eat that up. You'll have
Bing
the next side talk.
bong.
Yeah, the next side
Yeah.
talk is gonna be like Zion's coming through. What up, Celtics? Like that's just what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
Delusional.
it's kind of how that goes.
So a Western Conference scout said he would not trade. He would not trade Tyler Hero for Bradley Beal this summer.
Ooh.
A
Ooh.
Western Conference scout. How do you guys feel?
What was the
Like,
report? What was the full report?
Like
Basically-
one for one?
We dropped it off.
No. But basically, it was on Heat Nation. Basically saying that the talent gap is no longer that big. Beal is shooting about 30% from 3-point, whereas Tyler's almost at 40, and he just don't think that Tyler's
So-
22.
So we're basically just gonna have the Tyler Hero, whether or not you would trade
How
a
old is
conversation
Beal?
and for who, right?
Beal is 28.
28.
That plays into
That's
it a
it?
little bit for me, to be honest.
He
He's
should- I'll
29.
check.
He's 29 in June. Yeah, I have it up.
Really?
Yeah.
So he's born in '93, huh? I thought
Yeah,
he
he's
was.
one
I
of
thought
me.
he was a year or so older.
93s, baby.
I got nothing to say to that.
I don't know
got
how
nothing
old
to
you
say.
guys are.
91.
Okay, that's close
94
enough.
over here.
Oh, okay,
I'm
you see,
not
we just
saying
gotta.
Jack. But anyway,
Why are you acting like a woman, Alana? Your hair was
72.
I'm here with friends and the
72.
entire internet. If y'all are digging, you can figure it out. But
It's actually very simple. You can just text me and I'll tell you.
yeah, everyone has Michael's number.
I mean, I'm not gonna put that on here now. Actually,
All
I
right,
almost said
Tyler
it.
Hero. Tyler Hero. Look, we literally, Timmy and I just talked to Sean Rochester, friend of 5 Reasons Sports, obviously, about this, whether or not, what would you trade Tyler Hero? What would you trade him for? Whatever, the whole thing. So I guess we'll start here, right? I think, and there was a big thing that blew up in one of the Heat group chats about this over the All-Star break. So I guess we could have this conversation right this second. For me, Bradley Beal wouldn't be my first choice as one. But 2, it also depends on, because fundamentally, like in a vacuum, in a box, yes, I would probably move Tyler, Duncan Robinson, whatever stuff, picks to get somebody of substance to help push his team over the top. I would like to wait and see what this team could do without making such trade between now and April, potentially May, potentially June, and then we go from there.
I mean that's where they're at right now though, because none of those guys are going to be gone anywhere.
Yeah.
Trade deadline has passed. We're seeing what this team
we're
is.
We're not done pretend like Beal's not going anywhere. We're doing
so
this
that's what I was
again.
gonna say. I'm
so
over
sick
Beal.
of this. Yeah,
Yeah.
Michael and I have talked about this. Like, we're done. Like, how
Yeah,
many?
there's
how
no
many
way-
years can we do this?
There's no way he's gonna.
Y'all are agreeing a
turn
lot
down the
today,
max.
yo. Not for nothing.
It's the
Like,
energy, exact energy, Brian.
Yeah.
Exact
It's
energy.
because she's in. It's
Y'all
because
are
she's
agreeing
in
a
a
lot.
bad mood. It's because she's in a bad mood just because it
Who's
was
in
a long
bad
day.
mood?
So
This
now
was a
it's
great
like
day. You don't know what my day was. It's 2:22. Come on.
Says-
Not
says
a
the
bad
lady
mood at all.
who said she had a long day. You see a woman is go.
Look at, I fucked it all up right there.
no, but you see how she's like. She said she wasn't in a bad mood. We were agreeing. There goes all of it. All of it in that
Yeah.
one.
Because I'm
sentence.
not. I don't know how you're going to tell me what mood I'm in.
I
a
just
lot
look.
of the point you were making before.
Yeah,
I had a long day at work. It was a good day. I
that
don't
wasn't
see
the
how
point. He was
those-
talking about your Bradley Beal point.
Oh, we're just over it, is the point here. He's not leaving. Why are we still doing this? Why can't Heat Nation find someone else to talk about?
I think he's gonna sign the max and then leave. And
Put that comment on the screen, Michael. I know you see it. The one that just came through.
This one?
No. The new one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You see?
yeah.
That's true.
Make your choice. Make a choice.
Well, because here's the thing, and we Alana and I have talked about this before. I've talked about it with other people. Heat fans, more than anybody else, and I look, LeBron coming to Miami, I loved it. I never had an issue with it. I think it was great. I think it spoiled us all in a way where it was like, we can get whoever we want. We're whale hunters. Who are you? We're gonna go get you.
Moby Dick. That's basically
Right?
what-
That's how it always is. And it's just always that next name. We're just always moving on. We stick on a name until it's not gonna happen, and then we move on to the next
Do you
one. Right?
remember
You
when we were
had
supposed to
Giannis.
get Giannis? You remember
Yeah.
that?
It was,
Oh
bro,
my
within a
God.
year, we went from
I
Giannis,
didn't think that was gonna ever happen.
then
No
Giannis
way.
signed an extension, and then we moved to Harden. Then Harden got moved to the Nets. So then we moved to Bradley Beal. Then it was Damian Lillard a little bit.
It was
over the
Westbrook. It
summer.
was CP3.
I do think we've been on Beal for longer though than anyone. Like, I feel like it's been like 3 years of Beal for some reason. I don't
It
get
has.
it.
It has because
Yeah.
because
I think-
he's never actually definitively been like, I'm with the Wizards forever. He just said, I'll sign this extension and see how it is. Whereas
That
everybody
might-
else kind of shut it down.
Ramel here has a point.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal might be ready to go now. He saw that Kristaps Porzingis trade. He was probably like, "Whoa, boy! All right, it might be time." I think. Look, I'm kind of like, I don't know if it's what's transpired over the last several months surrounding Bradley Beal, but I've just never sort of been totally in.
Do you mean
on him?
I
don't mean anything in particular, Timmy. I don't know what you're talking about, but
but I think I need more research, Brian. I think I need more research.
Nah, but I like from a basketball standpoint, I could see where it makes sense. But for me, it's like he just wouldn't be my first option. Well, again, first, I think so. Duncan Robinson's contract, we understand, regardless of what side you're on, whether you're on the Duncan side or the anti-Duncan side, the pro-Duncan side, whatever. He is not finishing that contract in Miami. I think the reason
he's not finishing games in Miami. The dude hasn't seen the fourth quarter for months.
That's a good point.
The last game he won, he got a 3 in overtime.
Then we went to the All-Star break, so we'll see he comes back later this week. But here's the thing with Duncan Robinson, right? 5 years, $90 million. As soon as he signed that contract, I was like, okay, wait, that's way too much. That doesn't even I know what Joe Harris got, I know what Davis Bertans got. And Duncan Robinson got more and for longer, and it just didn't feel right at the time. Yeah. But the more I think about it, it's like, all right, you need a certain amount of money to match salary in order to make a trade. And ideally, if you're going to package him with somebody, it would probably be Tyler Hero. Him and Tyler Hero combined would put you in that 20-something range. Then you could sort of figure out the rest there, particularly in the summer where you have a little bit more room to move around with that. And the thing with Duncan Robinson is that, I don't know what his value is going to look like after this season. I have a good idea of what Tyler Hero's value is going to be after this season. And the big thing with Tyler Hero for me is he's playing for an extension right now. He will be extension eligible this summer. And this playoff run, whenever people argue about this, I always chime in and look, guys, this playoff run that we're about to see, how that unfold, that's going to determine a lot. And we don't expect Duncan to be finishing games, but you do expect him to contribute to some degree, right? And then with Tyler, it's is he going to be finishing games over Victor Oladipo? Because that's the big question. It's with Kyle Lowry there, he's finishing games. PJ Tucker's finishing, Jimmy Butler, Bam. The other one is either going to be Hero or Oladipo, depending on how Oladipo looks, depending on how Hero is
and what you need in the game too, right? You got a close game. If you have a lead, you're just sticking Depot and you're going to shut them down. Exactly. If it's close and you need some points, you're going to stick in Tyler.
Although
and to be fair to Duncan,
doesn't like to play around with his rotations in the playoffs as much. So I don't know if it's actually going to be what you need. I agree in the regular season, but I think playoffs Spo's very tunnel vision in that way. It's whatever he picks regardless of what's going on.
Yeah. So for me, it's if I honestly don't think Tyler's going to go apeshit in the playoffs, but I think he can have a good playoffs, right? And then for me, it's all right, if he's the third best player on this team and they go back to the finals or win a championship, now I'm interested to see all right, now do you try to make this package happen? Not necessarily for a Bradley Beal. We'll get to a couple other names in a second, but just in general, right? And then commenter brings up a good point here. Victor Oladipo balls out. That's the other element of this. What if Oladipo outplays Tyler Hero after a year absence?
At that point, can we even afford him, right? Because I think with Hero, I know we have bird rights on both, but doesn't it work slightly different with Hero because it's coming off the rookie contract, so that extension is capped a little bit differently?
Yeah, so Hero's extension is different because that's
Victor Oladipo's not getting no max contract either.
Yeah,
he's not. But if he has a good enough comeback, right, where he is 3/4 of what he was in Indiana, he's gonna want that money, and I'm not sure the Heat are gonna be the ones to give it. So
luckily, hey Greg. So luckily we could we have his bird rights. We have his bird rights. So even if he bought, and this is a summer where there's a little bit of money. There's only three or four cap space teams. And just a bunch of mid-level. So the Heat can maybe go a bit higher than another team if Depot turns into the Depot that battled LeBron when he was the Pacers.
The Depot that's in my heart.
I like to refer to him as the Black Panther, who came second in the dunk competition.
Yeah. So all right, moving off the Bradley Beal part of this, but is there hold on, Timmy, hold on. I know what you want to do. Is there a player or 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever that you would actually do the Hero Robinson picks? And I don't know if you might have to throw in an Omer Yurtseven or whatever that you would do. Timmy, I know your answer.
Does whatever a spider can.
Is there somebody out there that you potentially do this for? Because I have a couple of ideas. I don't. Again, I'm not saying that you should do this now, but this is something that I think they're going to think about, particularly if they don't even get to the finals, which the East is hard. So,
Alana?
I don't have anyone in mind. I'll be honest.
So mine is Mitchell, and his
got
one
that.
is Brandon Ingram.
no, mine is
Brian.
both.
I
would
do like
either
BI.
or.
And I feel like the Heat have had their eye on him, or at least they've had him in conversation for quite some time here. I don't know. For me, it's more like I need to see what the rest of the team's looking like. Like, if that's the only move that we make, it's one thing. But if we're starting to shift around other people, then my answer kind of changes. Also, I mean, it depends how we do in the playoffs.
My issue with Dame is the ab injury and the age, and then Larry. Can you play Larry and Dame together?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would do it for Jalen for sure.
I don't want Jalen.
Jalen's one you would do it for.
I don't want Jalen.
Yeah,
We
I
haven't
love Jalen
talked
Brown.
about that.
I love Jalen because I don't think he's
Hate
going
Jalen
anywhere.
Brown.
I think Jalen will never leave the ball. I think that their two are stuck together. I love Jalen Brown.
Unless they get into a fist fight, which
Yeah,
But
could happen.
I think. Look, Donovan Mitchell. So here's why I think it's actually realistic. I don't know what some people are sort of like where people are on the fence here. I think the Donovan Mitchell thing could be realistic to me just because we've seen this happen in NBA history. And we're seeing this happen, a lot of times now because players just sort of get what they want. Jamal Murray, that's interesting. I'm staying away from that.
I don't know why Nuggets would let him go.
I don't know if they would let him go, but I like it as like a Lowry after.
Here's why the Donovan Mitchell thing makes sense to me. Because Utah is kind of in a position where like they should be competing and they're clearly not good enough to do so. They may have another embarrassing playoff exit. So for me, this is also playoff dependent, as all of this stuff is, if we're being honest. They could lose in round 1, but let's say even if they lose in round 2 again, that's not good enough for what they're trying to do.
And for what they've been paying for.
Yeah.
And what we've seen with Donovan Mitchell lately is just these sort of subliminal things. And we've heard reports about potentially he may want out, whatever the case may be. Greg Sylvander, who commented not that long ago, has
Miami is on top of the list.
Yes, the Miami is on his list, very high on that list. And New York is also on that list. And obviously both teams would try to get him if he is available. I have no problem seeing in a realistic world after this summer. Let's say the Jazz lose in round 1 or 2, and if the Heat lose in the conference finals or even in the finals, I have no issue seeing in real life a Hero, Robinson, Omer, whatever, 2 white dudes going to Utah. I mean, come on. And then you got
geographically speaking, that he has so much more value in Utah than anywhere else. It's crazy.
I'm feeling very 05-ish right now. Like I feel like we are going to come so close, and Riley's going to like just remember 05, 06 was the biggest trade ever. It was like 15 players involved. So I think Riley's going to see us lose and be like, okay, no, I need to, and I think Riley doesn't want to do this forever. I think Riley wants to like get this ring and get out.
Alana, you don't seem moved by this. You don't seem moved by Donovan Mitchell.
I mean, I get it, but I'm not. He doesn't. I don't know. I get it. I've never been super drawn to him. To me, I think that people are weighing too heavily on the Wade factor here. I'm not saying that you guys are doing that, but I think in general, it's just like no brainer. Obviously, Wade's whispering in his ear. It's just like,
I don't think that's,
Wade
even
works.
Wade said, I'm not in that. Don't put that pressure on me.
Right. Yeah. It's like that's not why it's a no brainer. I'm not saying that that's why you guys are saying it. That narrative to me is just like not something that I'm paying attention to. I mean, I get it. I see it. I think he'd buy into the culture. I think his work ethic would be there, but he doesn't excite me as a player like other people do, I guess.
He may want out, but from Utah's point, they're definitely not trying to let him go win or lose. Obviously, yeah. But but the thing is, like, the idea, and this is why I think it's realistic to Alana's point. It's like if Utah feels like, or not really Utah, if Donovan Mitchell feels like they've maxed out and he wants to reset, like, look, these stars are going to get what they want. I don't think Utah can necessarily force Donovan Mitchell to stay. I don't know if any team could force.
And Utah's not a draw either. Like they're not going to build some super team out there because as great as Donovan Mitchell is, it's not like they can sit there and be like, "Well, we've got so much offer here in Salt Lake City."
And like the most they'll get from Gobert is a lesser center, and maybe some, So
I can't stand him. He makes me sick.
I agree.
Ew.
Did you see how much Draymond hates him?
Yeah, I enjoy
Yeah,
weekend?
which is the only time I think I've ever like vouched for something Draymond has said. I can't stand him either. And I was like, what is this? Am I agreeing with you? This feels wrong.
How you don't like Draymond but like Rajon Rondo will baffle me till the end of my days.
Draymond's a fake tough guy. I don't like it.
But Rajon Rondo's such a dick.
Yes, but he's actually a dick.
That doesn't make it okay.
Yes, it does. I love assholes.
No,
What?
shot.
I hate people who pretend to be a certain way. If you're actually an
No,
asshole, I
shot.
love you.
No.
Yeah, no.
Clip that. Somebody.
Yeah,
That is,
Um,
that is
4 minutes.
ridiculous. I think for me,
I-
Mitchell's the only one I'd be on board with. Brandon Ingram, I don't like Brandon Ingram. Like just him.
that's
Jaylen
less
Brown
realistic to me.
either.
That's less.
I don't like
realistic.
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
I think
I
Donovan
mean, if we
Mitchell's
could
the
get
only one that I've thought
Tatum
of.
somehow. I love that boy.
I'd rather Tatum every day. I don't think that would ever
I know-
happen.
he's
and
a
that would be
baby, I
much more
shouldn't be saying
expensive.
this. I love
Boston
But
that.
ain't
Jason
doing
Tatum for
that.
sure.
Boston ain't doing that.
I'm
Jaylen
just
Brown,
saying
no.
that's like my dream for multiple reasons.
Well, you know that Bam, Tatum, and Mitchell are their own banana crew.
Yeah,
So,
that's true too.
yeah. They got close during the lockout, and they got the extensions at the same
So
time.
then here's what we do. Right? We send Tyler, Duncan, some other package, right? We get Mitchell. We send Jimmy to get Tatum.
I'm not sending Jimmy no fucking where. All right.
For Tatum? For
I ain't
Tatum.
sending him
For Ta-
nowhere. I ain't sending him nowhere.
boy,
Not doing it.
I'm
boy,
shipping
Mitchell
his
Tatum
ass-
and Bam is a problem though.
I'm shipping his ass for Jason Tatum on the spot. They call me, I say, send him. Pack your bags.
You're losing like your half your team's identity with that.
No.
Yeah, I'm not doing
I don't
it.
think so.
Yeah,
I'm not
no
doing
way.
it.
I
Jimmy's
think-
a heart and soul.
I don't
of
care
this
how
team.
cool Jason Tatum's fucking game looks and how cool he looks when he gets
And
50.
that
don't
fur
care.
coat he rocked this weekend.
Look, he could
Everything
he could
about
be
You're
a
him.
Puerto
taking
Rican
it weird
dude, you know what I'm
places,
saying?
Alana.
Like,
You're
No,
taking
I'm
it
not.
weird
Hold your
places.
loins. Alana,
My gosh.
I've commented on PJ's clothing too, and no one
We
had a
know,
problem with
but
that.
nobody's attracted to PJ Tucker in that way. Like, I
That's
mean,
mean. Just because
Yeah.
I'm not doesn't mean other people aren't.
come on. Who else seen PJ Tucker?
PJ, I want you to come after Michael for that comment now.
PJ's not
Where
watching.
you get this
PJ's not
from
watching.
PJ Tucker?
yeah.
And listen, and if he does, he would just beat my ass. Like
Like he should for that comment.
Like, I get it. I'm not saying I'm more attracted. Nobody's after me. Like, they're probably more after PJ Tucker, but I just, compared to the two, no shot. No shot.
Hold on. Me and Brian was so afraid to start. Because he said,
I'm sorry, I can't hear you over Brian and whatever is happening
you
over
said,
there.
PJ, I want you to come. And you paused. And Brian's face he was so afraid.
Although this is very on brand
Sorry.
for me. I
One
cannot
second, guys.
believe
I'll be right back.
we've
I gotta
gone
go
this
turn off
way.
monetization. I don't want us to get in trouble for this one.
Listen to me. Brian was so afraid. So the last point.
This is
at
not
point,
on me. I would like to point this out. I don't know what's going
No,
on.
no,
over
this
there.
was not
Let's
like
just help
two-
everyone else out here for a second.
I was literally. I don't even remember what my full sentence was. This is not on me. Please take
No,
me
you
home.
said you wanted to
Wait.
come and beat.
Oh,
beat
come
up-
and beat up Michael. That's
But it's like
fair.
a 2-second like
What
delay.
What did she say exactly?
She wanted PJ to come and beat you up.
Right,
there
how
was
did she say it?
I want
It's
PJ to
not
come
okay
to
in
come
any
and beat up
way.
Michael.
Okay.
It's like a 2-second.
My head hurts.
The-
And she adds on top of that, it's not on me. I just think that works as well as this.
Am I
What do
on
you guys
the
talk
stream
about?
with 12-year-olds? Like, what is happening?
Alana,
You've known since
Alana,
day one I'm immature.
hold on,
No
I
need-
know that.
Hold on, Alana. I have not laughed that hard in a while.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Happy
Holy
Tuesday.
shit. I
Brian,
really, my
I saw the
chest.
life
my-
with his body.
Timmy knows me.
That like Tom and Jerry, the like white going all the way down through your body. Like that's exactly.
I feel
what
like
we
I'm
saw.
going to hear about this in our council meeting right after this. Ethan just being like, we need to talk about what you just have done on this stream.
Is this
is not on
Is this
me.
suspect? Huh, interesting.
This has to be. I'm sorry. This has to be clipped. That part
Amazing.
has to go out.
Ricky's
Holy
already working
shit.
on it.
The
You got one
context
last
is
thing,
bad.
Timmy?
Yeah, one last thing. Alana spoke a point I want to bring up. The restructuring of this team this summer. If someone gets stripped out, and Ethan has said that Dragic probably comes back this summer if we ship a few guards. How do we feel about Gogi and Brooklyn?
We hate it. We hate it so much.
Who's
I
we?
got several text messages when I went through and I was like, no one talked to me for like an hour.
I love it. I
Why
hope
would
he
you
wins
like
a ring.
it?
Because Jimmy is going to eat. Jimmy is going to eat. You have Curry, Kyrie, Dragic, and Cam Thomas in that backcourt. The tallest one.
Yeah, but that was
is-
going to happen anyway. We didn't need to add poor Goron in there.
I mean, it's not like he hasn't really played defense since like 2017.
I
anyway, so
honestly,
think
I would have supported him in Milwaukee. I thought that would have been
because
a really
you
good
because
idea.
you're like
because you're close.
You're close.
No, not. I would have gone, but I
have a
would.
Milwaukee
I'll go
bias.
anyway, though. It's not about Goron. I feel like that would have been a better fit for him.
I support the Nets more than the Bucks.
That's disgusting.
No,
I don't.
But we know how you feel,
I
Brian.
literally just threw up a little bit in my mouth when you said that.
My thing is like I don't. So I'm connected to a lot of Net fans because I used to cover them from 16 to 19, and they're really excited about Goran Dragic, and I just think that they haven't really seen him play last season because I think he'll help them, but to me this is more Cam Thompson / Kyrie Irving insurance.
Right.
I don't know how much of an impact he's gonna have.
Wait, you mentioned a name there. Kyrie Irving still plays basketball?
That's the other thing.
Part-time Kyrie.
And which is so interesting. Their first 4 games after the All-Star break, he can't play.
I think I don't know the way our mayor's talking shit. I think that he's probably gonna like fold and flip it because everyone around the Nets folds these days. And flip the rule, and then we're gonna. See
I think
Kyrie
he's
play
eligible
home
for
games.
7 more games for the rest of the season.
Yeah, something like that.
Like,
for
we'll
now,
see.
anyway.
But my thing with the Nets is like that backcourt cannot stop anybody.
So
Anybody.
Simmons wanted the pressure. He wanted to be in his own team. Simmons about to be defending. Like his life depends on it because you're starting Kyrie, Curry.
We don't know when he's gonna
Hey,
come back either.
So
Like
Ramon said today that he's ramping up, and by Friday he's going to give a date. So I'm thinking maybe next weekend. Based on what
no, they've got Bruce Brown's still there, right?
yeah. But they said him
he's got defense.
he plays power forward sometimes.
power forward. Yeah.
Well, they'll probably won't be doing that anymore now that they've got Ben
Simmons,
and KD. So they'll probably shift him to the backcourt where he can do a better job there.
Have you ever heard anything about Joe Harris yet? You're supposed to get an update if he needed to have a neck surgery or not.
I think the Nets are going to be better next year.
For sure.
think this year,
Yeah.
I just don't know if they're going to have the time to.
Yeah,
establish
only
some sort of
24
And while
games.
people say talent wins championships, you need the chemistry. You always need the chemistry in any example. Doesn't matter how fucking talented your team is. They need time. And I think next year they might just have a better team because Kyrie Irving maybe opt in and then they might trade his ass because
Yeah, some other would want to take on Kyrie and this non-vax stuff, They also have two first round picks, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna trade those to get like something to someone. So I have no
attach
doubt.
him to Kyrie, distress that.
I will say I do agree with Coach Miller about Joe likely being done for the season, just because I feel like half the time when it's a neck thing.
No,
I've seen
it's ankle, I think.
Yeah,
I thought it was a neck thing.
No, maybe. I
His
know for sure
neck.
the surgery
His back.
itself.
It's a lot of different things. When there's a bunch of soft tissue stuff repeatedly coming up and they've been holding you out this long, I mean, it's like Markeith, right? It could have that kind of timeline.
That's what I forgot. So we didn't trade for a backup for. I don't see one getting bottled before Sunday unless maybe Derek Favors. Do we feel safe that Morris will come back?
He better. I mean, I think that they should have gotten some PJ Tucker insurance.
But
so.
I'm not.
I think they think so because they didn't trade him. That's how I feel. I think
I feel like he's being held out by the Heat. So
yeah. Me too.
Because isn't that the report that came?
Yeah, that's what he's like kind of hinting. He's been cleared by his doctor to play.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna see Caleb Martin, Victor Oladipo, Markieff Morris soon. I feel like we should.
I think we're gonna have too many players we're gonna want to give time to by the time we get to the end of the regular season.
I think
if they all stay healthy.
It's a good problem to have.
I think Strus
gonna
won't play. I think we're gonna get to a point where maybe Denman may not even play in the playoffs if Tucker goes to small ball 5. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But Denman's gonna get the minutes over Omer, so he's still gonna get maybe like 10, 12 per game.
You're playing
right
8
from
guys
Dedmon.
in the playoffs, so PJ.
That's a lot of players bumped out because I don't know if Strus makes that cut.
No, he doesn't. I think Caleb has the best shot of all of them young dudes that we weren't sure about heading into the season. We mentioned this earlier. If we're gonna lay out playoff rotation before we get out of here, Lowry is obviously in. Hero's gonna be in. Butler's gonna be in. PJ and Bam. Duncan will play in the playoffs. I don't know if he's going to close, but he'll play. Oladipo, I'm expecting to be in the rotation. I'd be pretty shocked if he's not.
If he comes back and is healthy and he's not playing, why did you
there's no
resign
shot.
him?
Yeah, why'd you even keep him?
Right
Yeah.
now.
Why did you give me hope? Don't give me hope.
So
okay?
that's Duncan Oladipo.
Don't go breaking my heart.
Duncan Oladipo 6 and 7. You're basically at like Caleb, Dedmon. I feel like I'm missing somebody.
You said Hero?
No? Yeah,
he said Hero.
Is it just Caleb and Dedmon?
Yeah, because if you're not having Max in there.
Yeah, Max.
I don't think Max is going to be in there. No.
With a healthy Depot, Max won't play.
They might try him out if like Duncan's struggling.
I think it's tough. It's just too many people, right? Because
unless this is a new year for Spo and finally he's
maybe we go 9 or
up.
10 deep.
Honestly, I mean, weirder things have happened this season.
Maybe. So Markieff is the one for me. Where
Not
it's
me,
like,
Ramel. No one thinks that Depot is going to be better than I think.
Yeah,
that is true.
Nobody thinks
I'm on a Hall of Fame trajectory, my dude.
Let's end there. What are our reasonable expectations for Victor?
The man did work on half of a leg. It's now fixed. I think we won't get all NBA Depot. We won't get all star Depot. We'll get very high level, two-way, attack the rim. Maybe a sneaky poster type of Depot. I am so excited to see Depot.
Yep.
I think he's gonna. I know we saw what Clay did. Clay came back from two worse, part by Bahamian, but two worse injuries, which was the Achilles and the ACL. I think Depot after rehabbing it would have been basically almost a year, like 11 months, 11 and a half months. I think Depot's fine. I literally saw what he did on where it was torn. The doctor said it was not even attached. And we saw what he did on the Rockets. Yeah, the efficiency was down, but goddamn, the man had half a leg.
How many minutes?
25.
Okay.
Gabe Vincent is who you
25.
forgot. Thank you to Van in the
So
comment.
I think it's got to be Depot or Gabe in the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's either or.
Shortening the
To
rotation.
To give it to Gabe over Depot would be shocking because even if
but it depends
Depot
on
has-
Depot's looking.
Depot will have to get injured.
I love them to play both.
Yeah.
I would like to see.
That's
them,
jail. That's jail.
But that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like that's what it's the playoffs, right? Like I think you could even see that Caleb would have to get squeezed in because then you would have to go Gabe, Victor Oladipo,
Depot, Caleb,
Dedmon, Duncan would be the other guy who like
so
Duncan's gonna
part of
start.
that 9
Duncan is
rotation.
gonna start.
so
He's not
what
gonna
I
take him
actually
out.
think is
Well, no, I
think-
mentioned getting him because he's not going to close. Like those
Oh,
are the
yeah,
guys
yeah,
who
yeah.
are
So
probably
I
not
think
gonna
we
close,
actually get 9
but
people,
play.
but Duncan only plays like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Like
unless
Duncan
he's hot. That's what it is.
Duncan might only play the first 6 minutes of the first and the third, and then you get Gabe and Depot. That's
And then if he's like 3 for 4, you keep him going.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for him, but I
It's
think
gonna be very difficult.
These are good problems to have, and ultimately, I do think that they can, at best, win a championship. But I think it's more realistic to expect them to go at least to the Eastern Conference Finals.
So
I think they
We
could
can
beat
all agree on
anybody in
that.
the East, though.
we want to thank everybody watching for watching this crossover between Feel the Heat and the Bahamarican boys. Bahamarican boys have a fairly regular schedule, guys. When do you guys come on? Is it a specific day of the week or
Usually
muted?
Mondays.
Okay, cool. Usually Mondays, so make sure to catch them, and that's all YouTube, so it's all on here. Lana and I will be back recording next week. This is our episode for the week as the Heat didn't play this past weekend. I'm going to share my screen because this episode was sponsored. We do want to let you know about that sponsor. Timmy, go ahead. You're muted.
I was beating the drum. I said, dun, dun, dun.
Oh, yeah. So, Signs Broward Fort Lauderdale. Go to them for any sign needs you might have. This is their website. So, to signsbrowardfortlauderdale.com. You can call them at 954-791-8685. They have whatever signs you need, right? You want to put up a big poster? I'm calling them now, and I'm getting a Depot poster, and it's going to be my entire background. There's going to be nothing else behind me other than Victor Oladipo side by side with Thingamajig, because that was the best thing he ever did, other than win the Miami Heat a championship, which he will, and then make it to the Hall of Fame. That is all we had for the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can follow us all at our @. They're all right here in our names. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and we will see you guys next time.
And there will be a part 3.
Absolutely.